Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the CruitCast. Cole, our first of 2023. I had to look at my calendar in the bottom of my. It is 2023, right? I'm so used to saying 2022, but our first of 2023. I am recording from tucked away in a corner of the fancy La Quinta Inn down in San Antonio for the All-American Bowl. I'll be seeing Cole down here tomorrow. Cole, we're going to kind of do some fun stuff today. Keep this one a little bit more lighthearted. But before we get into some recruiting talk, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor there, Prime Shrimp. You see them at the top, primeshrimp.com. Use that promo code OrangeBloods, $20 off your first order. Y'all have heard Cole and I rant and rave about Prime Shrimp every time we do one of these. It's the best, man. Go get you some, $20 off. Use that promo code OrangeBloods. And also like this channel or like the video, subscribe to the channel. Get your notifications when we do these, or catching Almar with our Overreaction Monday and the Modcast. And we've got so many other things on this channel. So subscribe to that channel and get your notifications. Cole, haven't talked to you in a while, dude. How you were supposed to be in Orlando for the Under Armour All-American Bowl. Southwest cancels your flights, you and thousands of others, thousands of others, I think it was. So you didn't get that experience, but you'll be down in San Antonio with me tomorrow. But how was the holidays for you, man?
Yeah, it was good. It's kind of a bummer not to be out in Orlando, especially sounds like Jonte Cook and Malik Muhammad kind of have stolen the show. And as we're recording, Cedric Baxter just scored a touchdown. Yeah, other than that, I actually watched the college football playoffs in Fort Worth. So yeah, I bet you can guess how crazy that was. But yeah, ready to get down to San Antonio with you.
Yeah, dude, that was a fun weekend of football, and yeah, it's the All-American Bowl always does a good event down here. You were down here last year, like you said, in the freezing cold. So today, man, it was hot out there today. It was I was peeling off layers of clothing and sweating.
First thing I did once my Orlando stuff was canceled, I'm like, all right, let me look ahead at the forecast in San Antonio for how cold it was, and it's in the 70s. I'm like, oh, okay, I can get with that.
Yeah, you never know, dude. Like if it's going to be 75 down here in January or like in the teens, right? And I would prefer 75, but I wasn't prepared. And
Texas in a nutshell, man.
Yeah, dude, that heat drains me. I'm like trying to keep my eyes open. I got to tell you a funny anecdote. You'll get a kick out of this. Yeah. Nick Harris from Rivals.com, who you and I both love, right? We love Nick. And I was talking to Nick on the sidelines today, and we were talking about what we have coming up, just whatever. He goes, yeah, I got to plan something for my mom. He goes, she turns 50 on January 16th. I looked at Nick. I go, I turned 50 in April. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I always feel old around you guys, but I was like, that really made me feel old. I was like, he goes, you graduated in 91? I was like, yeah, rub it in, dude. He goes, I was 2 years old or something like that. I was like, oh man. So this old man is running on fumes. But hey, today, Cole, we're going to do it last week and the holidays and everything else. And you're supposed to be traveling, kind of caught up with us. We haven't done this yet, so we're a little behind on this. I'll admit it, but I want to do our signing day awards for the early signing period, the guys who signed with the early window. I did not even give you a rundown of all these awards that we're going to do, but they're pretty basic ones. So here's how I want to do this. I'm going to give you an award, and you're going to pick your candidate for the award, and then I'll pick mine. Normally, we do these in written form on Orange Bloods, and there's a lot of duplicates. But if you pick a player, that player's off the board, meaning I have to pick somebody different, okay? So kind of like a draft, exactly right. So let's start with an easy one. Offensive MVP, tell me your pick and why this person is your pick.
I mean, I'll go with the obvious one, Arch Manning, safe, easy choice, the #1 overall player. He's quarterback. He's the headliner of the class. He didn't really do any camps, may not be the flashiest, kind of player, but, you can't go wrong with Arch Manning, so I'll go with the safe choice.
That is the safe choice. And you know what? I'm going to make a confession. I don't think I would have picked Arch Manning if I was going first. I'm going C.J. Baxter. I think C.J. Baxter is going to be a big-time player for Texas. And I'm not saying Arch isn't, and he's a quarterback, so he is the headliner. I get it. He's Arch Manning. Crazy things happen at that quarterback position, man. Running back's a lot easier to project, so I would have gone C.J. Baxter. We're going to go defensive MVP right now, and I'll go first on this one. I think I know where you're going to go. I think where most people would go, so I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going Colton Vasek.
Okay.
And there's some pretty good options here. I mean, I know Anthony Hill, Manny Muhammad, but I think Colton Vasek, man, I mean, A, he's a fantastic talent. B, I just think he's got bloodlines, and that matters sometimes. I think he's only scratching the surface of what he's going to accomplish. Anthony Hill makes a ton of sense. I'm guessing that's probably where you're going to go, but I'm going Colton Vasek, Cole, on a bit of a off the beaten path pick.
Yeah, I mean, I think Anthony Hill again is another safe choice. If you would have taken Anthony Hill, I think I may have taken Manny Muhammad. This guy I've been kind of driving the bandwagon the whole season. So, yeah, same thing with Arch Manning. Anthony Hill's a safe projection. Easily number 15 overall player, number 1 linebacker. Should be a guy that can come in and start right away, or at least play significant snaps right away.
Yeah, if this was a draft, you would probably be winning, because I think most people would agree that your pick's over mine. I understand I'm going a little bit against the grain, but
map will give me an A grade.
Yeah, we'll see about that. So, Cole, you got first pick on this one. Offensive early contributor.
Well, I think I might go ahead and take your offensive MVP, CJ Baxter. There's kind of like you said, it's easy to project running back. And he mentioned to me when I went down to Orlando before Southwest camps on my flight, he told me, Bijan Roschon are going to go to the NFL. He sees opportunity to play early. So I'm going to go with Cedric Baxter. I think whether he gets RB1 role or not, I think he will see a significant role for freshmen as early as next year.
Yeah, that's a good pick. He was on my list. Obviously, I had him as my MVP, but I'm going you took Baxter off the board, so I'm going with Jonte Cook, the fantastic wide receiver out of DeSoto. Wow. You mentioned he's had a great week down at the Under Armour practices, so I'm going Jonte Cook. I think Texas has some depth at receiver, but I think he's a guy that comes in and plays early and often as a receiver there. Defensive early contributor, I'm going to steal your pick, your MVP pick of Anthony Hill. I'll be shocked if Anthony Hill isn't starting. I don't know if he starts game 1, but I'll be shocked if he isn't starting at some point his freshman year. I think I know where you're going, Cole, but I'm taking Anthony Hill off the board. Who's your defensive early contributor?
Yeah, I think Anthony Hill is definitely that right choice there. I don't know. I'm kind of considering 2 different guys for this one, actually. I think Texas does need some help in the secondary in a big way. And I think I'm going to lean Malik Muhammad. I think they do need some help at corner, especially. Derek Williams, I think it's worth mentioning, and is a guy that I think played pretty early. But I'll go with Malik Muhammad, a guy that's dominated. It sounds like Under Armour practices, a lot of length, 2-time state champion. I think he's going to bring a lot to the table and play some early snaps.
Yeah, all good suggestions and good recommendations. I kind of thought we'd go Hill and Muhammad, but yeah, Derek Williams would be another good one. Okay, Cole, you're first on this one. Kind of maybe a more tricky one. Some of these other ones have been pretty easy. Underrated offensive player. Who's your underrated offensive player in this class?
Okay, I'll go with there's a couple options I can go with. I'll go with Trevor Gooseby, who's signing with that offensive line class. He's a guy that, he was committed to TCU for a while, playing at Melissa. He didn't get a ton of, early hype or exposure, but really athletic guy. I think he's kind of, just scratching the surface of what he can become. Basketball player. His dad played basketball and football at a pretty high level. I think Trevor, once you get him into a weight room and kind of, around the college atmosphere, Kyle Flood's coaching, I think he's a guy that could, a couple of years from now, we're going to look back and say that was a huge get.
Yeah, really good pick with Trevor Gooseby, because like you said, I think 2-3 years from now, this is a guy that he's got NFL potential. I mean, will he get there? I don't know, but he has that kind of potential if he can reach his ceiling. I think that we have to go offensive line here, or maybe tight end. I'm going to go with any of the receivers. Obviously not Arch, not Baxter. So I'm going. Do I?
So you don't think Arch Manning is underrated?
No, he's number 1 consensus player in the country. I'm going to go stick like you, offensive line, and I'm going Connor Stroh. I think Connor might be a year or 2 away again, and they've got a lot of talent in front of him on offensive line. But man, you look at his senior film. This dude is just throwing people around like rag dolls. He's different than Gooseby. He's not the fantastic athlete. Doesn't maybe have the best footwork. But, boy, he's a mauler, and he's really improved his conditioning and everything from as he's gotten healthy for his senior year, and just had a really good senior season. So I'm going Connor Stroh as the underrated offensive player. Let's move over to defense. So underrated defensive player. I got a couple. I kind of bounced around on this one a little bit, but I'm going Samaje Burrell.
Okay.
And talking to his coach, I mean, he really sold me on Samaje. He goes, man, you're not going to find a better player in terms of athleticism and he can make plays in space, and he reads plays really well. And then I see these videos of Samaje like just blowing people up and body slamming them and doing backflips and all this crazy stuff. So he's clearly a really good athlete at the position. So I'm going Samaje Burrell with my choice for underrated defensive player. Cole, who you got for yours?
I'm going to go with one of your guys, actually, Billy Walton. He's a guy that we both kind of grew to really like during the process. Guy that was committed to Oklahoma State, similar to Trevor Gooseby, they had to flip him. A guy that I don't know if he's going to play early in his career, but down the road, I think he's all the intangibles. He's got the ability to make an impact on that either defensive end, if they want to play him outside linebacker. He's a bit of a tweener, can play a couple of different roles. Similar to Manny Muhammad, their teammates and cousins, two-time state championships at Oak Cliff, big-time leader on that defense. Another guy, Oklahoma State evaluates usually pretty well, and I think they got this one right, and I think Billy Walton could be another guy that we look down a couple of years back and say that was an important get.
Yeah, love me some Billy Walton as a player and love him as a kid too. So I hope you're right and hope he does well. So, all right, Cole, you're first on this one. First player to score a touchdown.
A couple guys you can go with. They have a bunch of skill players in this class. I'll go with Jonte Cook. I think he's one of the most electric players in the country. He seems to always find the end zone. I'll go with Jonte. I think he gets in the game early and scores.
Yeah. Does Arch count in this category? Because if he does, I'm taking Arch.
You can throw it, Arch. There's no rules.
I mean, C.J. Baxter was my choice, but I was like, wait a second. Why is Arch not eligible for this category? Touchdown passes. I guess that's scoring a touchdown, right? So I'll go with Arch. Who knows? Maybe even runs one in. So who knows? So all right. Best pure athlete. I think I know who you're going to go with, Cole. So I'm supposed to go first on this one? You don't know who you're going to go with. Okay. Well,
no, yeah.
You want me to go first then?
You can go first. Yeah.
All right. I've got two, and I'm really torn. So I was wanting to see who you went with first, so I'd pick the other one. Have you make my decision for me? Ryan Niblett's a fantastic athlete. Yeah. Okay. I mean, this is a guy just explosive speed, can do a little bit of everything. I saw him out there at practice today at the All-American Bowl practices. He was doing backflips out there, which Ryan Niblett could probably do this off of one leg. The other guy I keep going back to is Darian Gillette, the linebacker. I know he's been hurt, but I've seen that big dude running at Texas Relay. Or, was it Texas Relay? Right. But that's a big, a big, impressive physical specimen. But I'm going to go with my gut instinct and go with Ryan Niblett as best pure athlete.
Yeah, I think those are two good choices. I'm just adding a third name, some guy you literally just mentioned. Samaje Burrell, I think, is a pretty good athlete. You mentioned the backflips and all of that. He gets sideline to sideline. I'll take Samaje Burrell in that category.
All right, good one. Okay, you're up first on this one. Most exciting, I guess, on the field, most exciting.
Again, I'll go with Jonte Cook. Lost track how many times I got to see him play over the last 2 years, and it seems like almost every single game he did something that just wowed me. Doing the same thing at Neuromer practices, and he's just got this swagger and pizzazz to him that people are attracted to. I'm going to go with Jonte Cook.
Yeah, for me it was like Jonte was number one, and then the next guy would have been like number three because he's so far ahead of everybody else. So. But I'll go with DeAndre Moore. I'll change it up a little bit. The late addition to the class out of Cali, tremendous speed, really good player, can do a lot of different things for this Texas offense. So I'll go with DeAndre Moore, but I do think Jonte Cook's the clear answer there. Hardest hitter, this one's easy for me. I don't think I've said Anthony Hill for any picks yet. I don't even remember. So I'm going to go Anthony Hill for hardest hitter on the defensive side of the ball.
It's pretty safe choice there. Probably the right choice as well. I'll throw in a name we haven't mentioned yet, and I'll go with Sadir Mitchell. He's a huge defensive lineman. I feel like once he gets his body on you, it's over. So I'll go with him. He's had some pretty big hits on his highlight tape and some fumble recovers, forced fumbles. I'll go with Sadir.
Sadir doesn't even have to try hard to be a hard hitter. He could try to love tap you, and that's going to be a hard hit. Yeah. So,
Yeah, exactly.
good call. All right. Cole, I'm going to let you go first. This is our last one. And I
Okay.
know we're blowing through these, and it's kind of a fun video, but like I said, I'm stranded here in San Antonio. You got things. You're hitting the road at 5 a.m. tomorrow, so we can keep this one short. So, best recruiting moment of the 2023 cycle. And I understand we still have potentially more things to come, but so far, through the early signing window, Cole, what did you feel was the best recruiting moment of the 2023 cycle?
For me, it's kind of hard to not pick Arch Manning. When he committed, I was on the road to College Station actually for the state 7-on-7, and I think I was about an hour out from my hotel. Supposed to do a commitment story for somebody else actually, so I was trying to rush to my hotel. And my phone kept blowing up. I'm like, let me check my phone. And it's like a million messages from Slack from you, Catch, Onward. I think everybody. Twitter is blowing up, and I'm like, all right, what happened? I pull over. It's Arch Manning committing, and all he did was
You're like, should I pull over and like post my story? I'm like, yeah.
We were like all scrambling. All he tweeted was what their camp picture, and it went viral. And for right then there, you can kind of feel the momentum. Orange Bloods is really positive. Seems like Texas picked up unofficial commits that day, and some guys, like Jonte Cook waited a little bit, but it seemed like all the momentum was going with Texas. Arch Manning, he doesn't get much bigger than that, so I think I'll go with that.
Yeah, that's pretty easy choice, and like most people would agree with it. But you know what? I actually was going to go a different route for this one.
Okay.
I said the commitments of Anthony Hill and Colton Bostic combined. I'm combining these two. Okay, I'm cheating a little bit. But those were huge commitments at need positions on defense. And you flipped them from Texas A&M in Oklahoma, your two biggest rivals. So, like when those guys committed, I was like, isn't it more fun for Texas fans that Anthony Hill was previously committed to A&M or that Colton Bostic was? Yeah, man. I mean, if Colton Bostic would have just committed early to Texas, that'd be exciting. But, this added some flair and some sizzle to the story. The fact that he committed to Oklahoma. Yeah, more drama. So I'm going with Anthony Hill and Bostic actually flipping their commitments to Texas. I figured you'd go with Arch anyway, so that would be off the table. So
I went with a lot of safe choices in this.
Yeah, well, that's usually a good way to play things, man. So I don't blame you. So, all right, Cole. Well, listen, we're gonna keep this one short and sweet. You'll be down here in San Antonio, joining me tomorrow. So we'll have it's not Army Bowl anymore. All-American Bowl coverage throughout going into the game. Yeah, there is the Army Bowl is now back in circulation. There's so many of these things, but the All-American Bowl, we'll have coverage of that, including the game at Saturday. There's a couple announcements we'll be watching closely, so we'll have coverage of those things. I'm the old dude who's apparently as old as the parents of a lot of my coworkers and colleagues in this business. Jason Sucamel. That's Cole Patterson. That's Prime Shrimp on the top of your screen there, primeshrimp.com. Do us a favor, get $20 off your first order. Use that code OrangeBloods, code for OrangeBloods. That's doing us a favor, but it's also doing yourself a favor. You'll love it. So, and do us a favor and like the video, subscribe to the channel. Cole, safe travels to you in the morning. Blake, thanks for producing this behind the scene. Yeah, and I will see you at the Alabama at roughly 10 a.m. tomorrow morning for some practice coverage. So, yeah, we'll see you when you get there. But everybody, thanks for watching. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.